share a dream that I had the night of June 12th. Um, I was in a movie set with, on my right was seated Scarlett Johansson, the actress, and on my left was a very famous actor, just as famous as she was. Can't remember who it was, but it was a male actor. And so we were just kind of hanging out there, and this extra girl came up with her friend, and they were trying to be cool with us to make conversation. And we were talking, and we couldn't remember what movie I was in. But then I blurted out, "Oh, I played the role of Cinderella in some movie. I have no idea." And then the the extra girl was trying to tell us about all of her small, extra roles that she played in different movies. And then the male actor that was sitting next to us, a famous one, he was a bit arrogant, and he said, "Well, you have to be in 11 films in order to be considered memorable." So that's the word he used, memorable, and 11 films. And then he and Scarlett Johansson left. And that was the end of the dream. So, of course, I was very excited that I had dreamt or gotten a confirmation of something of the Cinderella, because I had been given a song when I was out walking my dog one time. It was just a like a little tune that was given to me, and I had to research because I didn't know where to place it in the past, and that was the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boom song where Cinderella is being transformed to go to the ball. So I thought that was, symbolic of the rapture, and I made a video of that. If you want to go back and look at my videos. So that was confirmation for me that, about the upcoming rapture and transformation. So that made me really excited. But then I started to look more into, Scarlett Johansson. And her name is Scarlet. Obviously, it's a red-orange color, and it's often associated with immorality and sin, particularly prostitution or adultery. And in the Bible, there's a passage that refers to the great harlot that is dressed in purple and scarlet in Revelation 17, 1 through 6. So I was like, ooh, maybe, after the transformation, which is represented by me being Cinderella, playing Cinderella, um, something's going to happen, and this has to do with the Great Harlot or Great Babylon. Um, so I saw that maybe that's what the meaning of seeing Scarlett next to me. And her last name is Johansson, which means son of Johan. In Hebrew, it means God is gracious. So I guess that means by the grace of God, our transformation would maybe happen before, um, the issue, all the fighting that goes on with and the destruction of the Great Harlot. So then I called my sister, and I was starting to discuss, and I had called her maybe half an hour before we actually spoke, but she was out on a hike with her daughters. Um, so she called me back, and we were talking, and as I was telling her, "Oh, look, I dreamt I had, all this stuff, and I just don't know what the number 11 means, 11 days, 11, what do you think it could mean?" And she said, "Oh, that's so funny. My daughter, her daughter's about 16, I think, had a dream last night as well. And she was in front of a 7-Eleven store. And so she was telling me about this dream that her daughter had, and then her daughter blurts out, 'Mom, it's 11:11.'" So she's telling me about this dream, about the 7-Eleven. It was 11:11 a.m. where she lives. And I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." I look at my clock, And since, we live in different continents, over here it was 7-Eleven. We were 8 hours apart. So I was like, oh my goodness, that is so, funny. So that was like a confirmation to me. Um, so her daughter's dream was that she was at a 7-Eleven store in front, and there were, a bunch of gang members, and they were um, looking at her, and they were going to attack her with their gun. They had a gun, and she was really scared, but somehow she was able to take their gun, and she shot them all. But she was still scared because she knew that their leader, or the main one, was going to come back and get her, to take revenge. And she was scared, but then she saw her father, her protector, and then she felt better. And that's when she woke up, and she was like, why is she dreaming about this? She doesn't go out by herself to random 7-Elevens and fight gang members. So that was an interesting, and her dream was, obviously very scary, but it brought me back to, okay, so maybe that's the missing piece. It's pointing to 7-Eleven, and in my dream, it's just something memorable, it's on the 11th film. So it's, to me, that's a warning. And then the confirmation of when we were actually speaking, it's 11:11 over there, 7-Eleven here. And then that night when my husband was like, oh, let's go to bed, what time is it? And I checked the thing, it was 11:11. When I was talking to my mom about the coincidence, and just when I got into the part of the number 11, we were 11 minutes and 11 seconds into the call. So that was just like, okay, tons and tons of confirmation. So that's why I'm sharing it. And, I didn't think anything of it until I was led to look into, what's the significance that day. And actually, the week before, somebody had posted a comment on another video, and I said, oh, I did some digging around what the time frame that person had gotten. It was not at 7-Eleven, but it was closed. And I was led to the 3 weeks of mourning that the Jewish people follow every year, and that starts on the 17th of Tammuz. So they have this, um, so many horrible things have happened. The destruction of the two temples um, around that time period. So you guys, I'll put a link so you can do some reading about that. But that is a 3 weeks of mourning, and it all gets kicked off on the 17th of Tammuz. So I remember there was something in July, and it just so happens that year, um, this year, the 17th of Tammuz falls on July 11th, 7-Eleven. So, wow, my sister, obviously, her daughter had no idea. So it's quite interesting that we both had the dreams that same day. So just everybody, just sending out the warning, just be ready, be watching on that day. I think hopefully, the bride will be gone by then. But it just means a lot of calamities might be in store in the summer. All right, thank you. God bless.